We usually do trips, longer trips, like 3 to 6 days, and we are pretty much self-contained. We bring everything that we need to camp on our own kayak. We don't have someone else bringing any stuff for us. It's like we have our stuff. It's kind of like backpacking, but on a kayak. And I've noticed that there is virtually nothing online to help with this type of rafting, this self-supported rafting. So I decided to do a video series on self-contained kayaking and what to bring, what to do, how to do it. I thought I'd start out my series with how to load a kayak. There's not a lot online about it. I am no professional. I've only actually started rafting like 5 years ago. I started later in life. But this is kind of me going through my thought process on it. Now, this is pretty much the configuration that I do. Like I said, there's not a lot online, but if you're a canoer or, canoers are usually in the back of their canoe paddling. The person in the back usually has the most control if you're doing a tandem. So I figure I want to be back farther. I have a lot of weight that I'm carrying, as you can see, this bag, it's heavy. This is a pretty light bag. I actually usually put it on the back, but that one's heavier. I'm going to put it back there. I don't want to put a lot of weight up here just because it seems like if you put too much weight up front, you have a hard time steering. But it's kind of a thing that you adjust on the river as you're going. One time my boat was, maneuvering really well and really nice, and I decided to move some weight around, and I moved some weight, and then all of a sudden it was hard to turn. It was like turning a barge, it just wouldn't turn very fast. And I think I moved too much weight up front. The way I kind of see it is, if you were doing, two people were here, one person would be in the back, one person would be in the front. So I'm kind of pretending that is a person up front. And that's why I'm putting a lot of my weight up there. Those two things combined are not as heavy as that. But I don't want to put too much weight down here. I need to put weight so the nose goes down, but not too much weight. And if I did put this here, which I could very well easily put that there, and then put my wet box, my dry box there. But sometimes you get winds going up those canyons. You hit slow water and you got a headwind, and it literally wants to turn your boat around or push you backwards. And this is a lot of wind hitting, boom, 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 boom. So I'm gonna put this down here. This one's, not too heavy, it's pretty light. I'm gonna kind of put it there just to make it streamlined a little bit. And I'm sitting to the back to give a little more control. I guess theoretically, if it was a single person kayak, not a two-person kayak, and you're by yourself, you would want to be in the center, is what I understand. But a two-person kayak with lots of gear, it seems logical that I want to go back a little farther to have a little bit more control, because you don't have as much control, if you're up here. But, so this, what I like to do here is, these are big bags, but right behind my seat, and right there I just strap it in, and when you're in it, You can actually use it as a back support, you know, if you just want to kind of sit back and relax. Where if, you know, that wasn't there, you know, you don't really have that relaxation. Like put that up there, strap it in. You got a nice back support. I mean, my legs are a little. I try to do it where I keep my legs a little bent. So probably about right there. And if, you know, I need to stretch out the legs, I can. But you can also dig in. You know, it seems like you're more in a crouched ready position. Your legs are straight. You know, you're not quite crouched and ready. Where this is, you know, you're in a crouched and ready position. But, you know, if you want to, you can, in slow water, you can, you know, really kick back. Just regularly floating down the river, you know, you're kind of in a crouched and ready position. And this is a comfortable position to sit in. You can sit here quite a while. Anyway, that's how I set up my boat. I'll probably do some updates on the river because that's when you can really tell. Just to give you a closer view, pretty much all I'm lacking is my extra paddle, which I'll have, you know, shoved under there. But there's quite a bit of room up there. But that's how I have it. I might put that somewhere else, but that's my setup. So I just got back from a 6-day rafting trip, and I did a little experimentation. Every day, it wasn't bad rapids or anything. So every day I completely changed my configuration. I put most of my weight in the back. I moved where my seat was. I kept changing it up to find out what the best way to do it was. And I think I finally found the proper solution. I usually go with 3 other buddies, and we all do the same thing, self-supported kayaking. And we all load our boat completely different. And it's hard to, you know, unless you know what's in their bags, which bag's the heaviest, and how it maneuvers. You know, I guess I should have probably gotten their boat and checked out how it maneuvered for a little while. That's what I should have done. But I think I did find the solution. Anyway, so one of my buddies, this one looks like he has more of the weight in the back, and he's sitting about in the center. This one, he is back from center. He's sitting in the back more. He's not in the very center of the boat. He looks pretty even. I know the green bag that he's stepping on is really heavy. That's most of his heavy stuff. But it looks like he has quite a bit of stuff behind him too. He kind of looks actually pretty balanced, but sitting back. And my other buddy, he brings a lot of stuff. He brings everything. And so he has a lot of stuff anyway, but it looks like he's sitting a little in the center or maybe just a little bit in front of center. And he has, I would say, more weight in the back, but he's got quite a bit of weight in the front too. But I would say overall he has more weight in the back. Anyway, let's just get to the point, you're all saying. Okay, so day 2, or maybe it was day 3, I moved my seat up to, I think, just behind middle, and I put most of my weight in the back. And this is my setup. It was kind of haphazardly set up, so it was a good thing we weren't hitting any crazy rapids. The next day I did it better. But anyway, so what I found was that I turned quicker. I could turn faster. I had more weight in the back, and my foot would turn a lot quicker. I'd go a lot quicker. And it actually floated better. Me sitting more toward the center, I was just behind center, and a lot of my weight in the back. So then the next time I got on the river, I changed things around a little bit more. I think I might have put even more weight in the back. And yeah, my front end turned nice and quick. But what I found was my back end would start to, if my back end would start coming around, it was hard to get that back, to get back where it was supposed to be. I mean, it's just, I mean, once it started going sideways, it was like, oh boy, you really, so the third day I was, struggling. It would turn quick, but then once it started turning too much and that back end started going, you had to get all that weight back around. So, my conclusion is you want to be pretty much center or back of center, and you want your weight evenly distributed from your front and your back. And that way you can turn the best you can. And if your back gets too far ahead of you, you're not fighting that back. Your weight isn't all in the front. You're not having a hard time turning because you got so much weight in the front. You're balanced, and that way you have spinning, and you're kind of in the middle, and you're just spinning, and that is the best way to do it. That is what my conclusion I came to, and I'm sorry it took this long for me to get to my point, but that's the thing I went through, and I know you all go through it, and I hope this helps you. Balance your boat out and sit in the middle or middle back. Now, I'm no pro, and if you have any thoughts, ideas, suggestions, how you do it, I'd love to hear about them. Thank you, and if you want, you can watch my other videos in the series. Most of it's going to be about packing right now because that's what I'm doing. Hopefully, we'll see you on the river. And remember, you can do it.